Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Ask the Knights Live. It is Thursday, and you know what that means. It's time to have a little fun. Tonight, we have a special episode for you. Not what we normally do, it's just a little something that me and a couple of friends of mine we're thinking we need to re-inject a little more fun back into the fighting of the SCA. So if you would join me in welcoming Neo the Pick and Attilas Primus Castus. Hey, gentlemen, how are you tonight?
Doing good.
Doing great. Doing great.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for coming out and joining me this evening. This is going to be a little fun. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be silly fun, but we'll get there. All right. So, gents, before we get started too much, I would like for you to introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and how you got into the SCA. Sir Neil, we'll start with you.
Oh, okay. I'm Sir Neo the Pict. I have been in the SCA since 2008. I stumbled upon a fighter practice in a very small park in Flagstaff, and I was like, how do I do this? And they were like, you show up next weekend with a sports cup and we will throw armor on you. And I've kind of been, the fighting drew me in, and then so I've always been a fighter, and then I kind of learned to love everything else about the game as I went. So it's kind of my intro short story into the SCA.
Excellent. Attilas?
Mine's similar. I started out doing the whole boffing thing at the park, and then a couple people showed up and were like, hey, you can do this in armor. And the rest is history. So here we are.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, welcome again, gents. Thank you so much for being on the show. Now, I will give the caveat that Attilas is not a knight yet. And this is normally I have two knights on, but the whole reason that I wanted to do this show tonight was because two gentlemen right here not only made me laugh my ass off, but they also rekindled a little bit of flame, a little bit of joy in these dark, plague-ridden times. They made me happy, and they inspired me to get involved with a little thing that they're doing. So let's talk about that, gents.
Sure.
So you guys are doing a thing at the Next Australia War?
Just a little bit of a thing.
Yeah.
Just
What's that going to be?
It started out, Attilius called me out in a video while he was jogging in his armor. And at first it was like low stakes. We were like, all right, let's have a duel. And it's funny because in our banter and playful trash talk, it's like people started dividing up and they're like, yeah, well, I'm on this side. And it kind of just like organically grew into this giant thing now. So now there's a little more than a duel. There's a duel that will trigger a battle. And we're trying to keep it Romans versus barbarians. Obviously, if it was Romans versus Picts, it would be me and four other dudes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, versus a couple of legions, but you know.
Yeah, versus a couple of legions.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, everybody knows about the age-old rivalry between the Romans and the Picts. The Picts are the only. Go ahead.
Let's assume that everybody doesn't know about it.
Okay, sure.
Tell us a little bit about that little feud.
Yeah. So the Picts were like the Romans' last frontier. They became the Scottish. Is that correct, Neil? They became the Scottish
later,
people. Yeah. Later on, so it's that area of Britain, and the Romans went up, tried and tried and tried, and failed and failed and failed. So they built 2 walls. to you know, it was like it was the only, one of the very few people or tribes that the Romans did not conquer. And so Neo, knowing now that he likes to pick fights with Romans, including stealing some standards, I was like, you know what? I'm an up-and-coming guy. I'm an up-and-coming Roman. I got this new chainmail. I got to train in it. I've never trained in the weight. Let's make a video and see what happens. And
Yep.
that's it. That's the rest is history right there. So it literally blew up in our faces. So
To add a little more to the history, so at the time when Rome landed in Britain, the Picts were still fighting super duper tribal style warfare. They didn't really have group tactics, to be honest. And if they did, it was very small, like skirmishing tactics. So there's a famous debated whether it happened or not battle that the Romans recorded called the Battle of Mons Grappius. And it was the only recorded battle where the Picts attacked the Romans in a pitched open field battle. So the Romans recorded that 10,000 Picts got slaughtered and they lost 100. So after that, it's funny though, because that is in fact the only battle recorded with the Picts. The funny part about it is there's tons of talk about them afterwards, but it's all, oh, our supply train got stolen. Yeah, exactly. But what's funny is, I think it's hilarious because the Picts took one battle and they went, well, that was a bad idea. So then they were like, let's try something different. And they, of the time, the Picts and the Germanic Celtic tribes were like masters of guerrilla warfare. And it's kind of what they used to not only just like harass, but like basically subdue the style of Roman warfare, because every other culture that Rome conquered always tried to meet them toe to toe.
Right.
The Picts were like, well, that didn't work out too good in a really big way, so let's just not do that anymore.
And I love, like, one of my favorite pieces of history about this time is, that when they built the walls, and like, then they just pretended that everything north of the wall didn't exist. If you ask a Roman at the time, like once the wall was completely built and everything, you ask them, it's like, they would tell you, oh, we have conquered all of Britannia.
Yeah.
But what about that bit over there? Nope. That's just nobody wants to live there. Nobody can live there.
It's like in the Lion King when Simba's up on the mountain with Mufasa, and they're like, "Yeah, you know that dark place over there. You just don't go over there. It's fine.
Don't go there. You don't want to go over there.
You don't go over there."
I love it. So I guess that's about the time after you guys have been throwing this back and forth. A little bit of artwork got done. How'd that come about?
Mm-hmm.
The posters.
We just ask people. We ask people for donations to do it. Erin, she did it for us. She worked for Marvel for a little while, and she's also Roman, and so she was like, "Hey, I want to jump in on this." And literally, we just made a post. Was like, "Hey, we want some people to do fight posters. Let's build this hype up." Yep. And before we knew it, she was designing posters and threw it all out at us. So it was pretty cool.
It's funny because she really ran with it, because really the only direction me and Attilius gave her was, hey, we want them like boxing or UFC style fight posters. Mm-hmm. And then she was like, cool, give me some photos.
Right.
Yep. And he ran with it, and they're awesome. Like I'm gonna eventually get a huge printer. I'm gonna go to Office Max and have some prints made and probably frame them, because they're awesome. Cool.
They are spectacular. So maybe we'll post them in the comments of the video.
Oh, well, let's do better than that. How about?
Oh, hey, he's got it. Never mind.
Oh,
that's one of them.
So
What's the
tell
first
me a little bit about this one. What was the mood behind this one? What made you go for that? Like,
That was all Aaron.
That's all, yeah.
We both did a personal photo shoot of ourselves in various poses. Aaron told us, "Hey, I want this pose, this pose, this pose, and this pose," and so we both did the same kind of general poses. And she kind of just threw them together in a whole bunch of different ways. So,
Yep.
So this one is good, and I really like this one.
oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I made
that-
that one actually. So
Did you? Oh, that's awesome.
Super sick.
yeah.
That's really cool. So I think after I saw those posters, I couldn't resist, and I reached out to you guys and was like, "This is awesome. This is the type of thing I love seeing. This type of thing, like these rivalries. You know what I mean? Where people you get together. There's tons of good fighting. You get people, beating the crap out of each other and meeting new people.
Yep.
It's an excuse to meet some new people, and then you have a good time with it and you have a lot of fun. I was lucky enough to be part of the Combat of the 30 at Pinzik 40. God, that was over 10 years ago now. That's depressing. But it was that same kind of vibe, you know what I mean? I was on the English side, and it was French versus English, and we had so much fun just, in the build up to the event, just smack talking each other, in the most polite and, silly 14th century way. It was ridiculous and fun. And I'll never forget that. Like, that was such a great time. I had so much fun, and like the memories of that. Every time I see like a picture of that pops up, or I'm going through my old photos and I see that, it always just makes me really, really happy. And so, like I was saying, I reached out to you guys and asked if I could help. And so I want to do little videos for you guys. So I said, hey, send me a bunch of pictures. You did. You do that. And you guys want to take a look?
Very epic. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. We'll do pics first. How about that?
That's fine.
I tell you,
funny
I had
is that
so much fun doing that.
that last photo where it's from behind me, super hilarious, because that actually was a really controversial photo. Like a week after it was taken, after Estrella War, like there was so much talk about it. Like at one point, like someone was like, "Wow, they let you on the field like that? That's completely unsafe." And I was like, "Well, I mean, I signed the waiver."
You had the minimals. Minimals were.
Yep. Everything was covered.
Another cool thing about that picture is my company's in that. The house that I hail from is in that picture too. It's the big black and red war door. That's a black company where it's my SCA tribe. So
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, totally get it.
Yeah.
Totally
That's
get it.
Yeah.
I had to throw in that, turn your back on Rome thing.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So one of the famous comments on that photo was somebody was like, "Do you guys see that butt? That's Aiden Milt's butt."
It's going to
Oh my
be
gosh.
unfortunate that it's going to be black and blue by the time we're done with this.
No, you are hilarious.
All right. Okay. All right. So we've seen the Pix side. Let's take a look at the Roman side.
That last photo kills me. It's like my eyebrows even being raised. I'm all.
Oh, that was so much fun. So much fun to do. And I think you guys let me be a part of this goofiness.
Of course.
Oh yeah.
That's part of the reason why we did it. Honestly, I'm in real life. I'm a personal trainer. I went to school for it. I know a lot of people know that already. And Neil reached out to me for some help, and that's actually what it stemmed from. Was me trying to motivate him to get back in shape. That was my original motive behind it. And I know that we can't really get together and play anymore at the moment. So I was like, well, you know what? Let's do something. Let's see what happens. And like we said, it just exploded from there. I was literally on a jog. I was on a Facebook hiatus, and I asked Sir Helga to send him the video. I don't know if she ever did or not because I didn't have Facebook. But then I got on. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. And I got my Facebook back. Yep. So, and here I am. Just you can literally the chainmail's going.
Yep, in the video.
And and before you knew it, like we said before, it's inspiring a lot of people to love and play the game again in a way that I personally have never experienced. I've never outwardly challenged someone to a duel before, and as an up and coming, I'm going to say master at arms because I don't know if I'll take the belt. I'll take the baldric probably just because that's the way that I came up as. So this was my way of saying, hey, here I am. Let's see what happens. And Neo just so happened was like, fuck yeah, let's play along.
Yeah, let's do it. So much fun.
And it's historically accurate. So,
yep. Romans versus the world.
Absolutely, 100%.
Pretty much it.
Although, I gotta say, we're having a little disagreement here in the comments. I'll throw this up right here. Romans are fake news. Ha ha ha.
Oh, Flanagan. I miss that guy so much.
Oh yeah. Let's see. There's another one here. Where did it go? Oh, right here. You've got a Team Neo T picked right here.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I'm getting cross kingdom support.
There you go. It's gonna be a blast.
But you got a handful of guys from my own kingdom that are going to be on your side. So.
Well, we do have a little bit of support for Rome right here.
Oh yeah!
Yay! Thank you. He's my go-to guy as of late.
All right, folks. So we're almost at that point. I've got a couple more questions for these awesome gentlemen. But before we get there, I got to remind you, get those questions into the comments right now. I can't ask questions if you don't write them. It's true. All right. So, like I said, we got a couple minutes before we get to audience questions. Wait, I meant to turn that off. Where did it go? I missed it already. Look at that. Whoop. Okay, there it goes. Now we're back to normal. Yeah, so get those questions in, folks. But before that, and so Neil, I know I've asked you this question before on a previous show, but for those who maybe didn't get to see it, what made you choose the Pictus persona? Like, and what made you go minimal? I know that it's, you know, it matches the persona, but like, where did that crazy idea come into your head?
So, way back when, before I knew about the SCA even existing, I grew up on the Navajo reservation with my my parents. My mother is full-blooded Navajo. She's my adopted mother, but she's mom. She raised me. She actually was in the delivery room when I was born, so like she's literally always been there. I grew up on the reservation, and everyone was, as they should be, super cultural. Like I grew up in a place where I was not of the culture, and I didn't know my own. So that was a big deal to me. So I actually did 23andMe to see what I was, like what my genetics were. And yeah, like 86% Northern British, which is Scottish, which is Pictish, and everybody else who intermixed. But it was a high percentage, actually. I guess something like only 17% of the world is more than 50% of anything, which is odd. When you think about it, but I mean, with mass travel, that's going to happen. So yeah, I got super into learning about my culture, and I was like, cool. And then honestly, I've always been I love ancient history, and I mean ancient like I'm creating a secondary armor outfit for my late period persona, and for me, late period is like 1200. That's as late period as I'll go, because everything after that just feels boring to me.
Oh, but we'll drag into the 14th century eventually. But.
Yeah, maybe. So I dug real deep, and I like started learning as much as I could about the Scottish, and then I was like, well, what would they be during Roman times? And I looked up, and it's this massive. It's funny because it's so chock full of history, but it's also so chock full of mystery. Like there's not a ton known about the Picts, because they didn't write. All they had is stone carvings, and most of the accounts of what they were culturally and what they did comes from the Romans. And it's funny because there's still, even to this day, minus the major dig finds that actually very recently have happened, everything's up for debate. Everything's speculation. And I find the mystery of that super intriguing. Who knows? Like I'll say 75% of it's probably true, coming from the Romans, because they wrote everything down. But the rest of that percentage in my mind is probably propaganda. They were the enemy, and they wanted to rally people against them. So they would say stuff like, literally, there's literally a wax tablet where someone wrote home, and they were like, oh yeah, in the winter they still don't wear clothes, and they eat their young if they look weak. like crazy stuff where I'm like, that's pretty brutal. There was not really any documented cannibalism on the island. Sorry.
But there's not any not documented.
Yeah, I know. No one said it didn't happen. But yeah, so I started really getting into it, and then I've probably said this on previous episodes, but I am huge on background story. Like I love to hear people's persona story. My story, I was captured and made a house slave at a young age, and then when the master of the house died, a Lanista bought me and trained me in his gladiator camp. And so I fought up through the ranks in the gladiatorial games, and Britain actually during the time Britain had the second largest coliseum where they had gladiator games. So won my freedom. When I say won my freedom, I pretty much count that as when I became a peer in the SCA, I won my freedom. And so my story then goes to me traveling north of Hadrian's Wall and leading a successful guerrilla campaign against Rome.
Having fun all the time.
Yeah.
All right. So, Attilius.
Yep.
Tell us why you chose the legions of Rome.
So, I'm pretty much my entire, well, when I was a young adult, mid-20s or so, I really didn't know what I wanted to do when it came to the persona thing. I just knew that I was a mercenary in the House Black Company. I always loved the look of the Romans and the Greeks, so I've always been drawn to the ancient times as well. In fact, my first suit of armor was full Corinthian, and then,
Ooh.
pretty much hero armor from Ice Falcon, and I just recently sold it to go even more period to the Romans. And the reason why I was doing that is because at that point, I'm going to get a little bit sentimental here. I was literally 300 pounds overweight, and I was depressed, super depressed, just playing World of Warcraft literally all day from 5 a.m. till 2, 3 a.m, and then just rinse and repeat nonstop. So I'm kind of leading up to when I became a personal trainer, and just the disciplinary aspect of it, of how disciplined the Romans were and how disciplined the Spartans were. I've always been drawn to the discipline aspect of everything, to the point that I even wrote the tactics and stuff that Black Company uses based on Roman tactics and stuff like that. So if you see us out there, you'll start to see a lot of what we do is very similar to the Romans. And I just, one of the best man at my wedding, one of my best friends, Damius, he's part of Black Company. He's another Roman, lives in Cedar City, Utah, southern Utah. He's the elder of the Rebels tribe. I'm the elders of the Black Sun tribe. That's northern Utah. And so we've always just been, our back history was that when we started this, we were Roman kids. We grew up. We didn't necessarily want to go into the legions because we didn't want to be tied down to Rome. So we joined because it was mandatory. It was an obligation to serve your country. So at that point, I didn't realize that it was literally a 35 or 25 year long campaign join. So we left. We'll say that we, at this point, changing the story, we left the legions and found Black Company and joined Black Company. And I'm kind of leading this up to this as my way of getting back into the good graces of Rome, which would be the kingdoms. I'm not saying I'm going to ever become a kingdom guy. Black Company's always going to have my heart and my soul. But this is just throughout the history of Black Company, we've had our issues with the kingdoms being a full mercenary house. Not to get into details, but throughout the years, people like Lash, myself, I don't know if you guys know Lord Alfred the Black. He was the elder before me. Issei, Cyan, the samurai. There's a Raven, Don Pitt. We've all came together and wanted to make peace with everybody in all the kingdoms that we've struggled with. And so this campaign to me is, it's not only for me to get out there and prove my worth and not simply live off the shoulders of the giants before me. It's for me to say, hey, I'm an elder of Black Company. Hear me roar. But it's also like my way of saying, this is my way back in with the good graces of Artemisia, if you will, if they were Rome.
Well, and it's a good thing too, because Master Lash out here is he's a well-beloved part of the West.
Yep.
And so is Black Company. And in my opinion, he does a fantastic job of riding that line between, mercenary company and Kingsman. He would kill me if you hear me say that, but Um, no, but seriously, he's done a lot, and all
Mhm.
of the company has really done a lot to try and keep things fun. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
And still be able to play your game.
Mhm.
Um, a couple of months ago, we actually had the leader of the Two Chucks on the show.
Dude's intense.
Yeah, oh, great guy. But
Oh yeah.
that's the things is even as an outside entity of the SEA,
Mhm.
one of the things that they say is when we play your game, we play your game. Like we play by your rules. We do the things that you want to do so that we can continue to play with you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it's a great thing, and I hope
Mhm.
that we see a lot more of that kind of attitude from some of the other mercenary companies
Yeah.
coming up because they're always fun to have. Like
Mhm.
having people to play with is always better than not. So
It's kind of a pain in the butt. I've been part of Black Company for literally since I was 16 years old, and I'm 35 now, and I still have to hire them for this scenario. Just so you know.
well, you know how it goes.
You're like, don't I get a discount at this point?
No,
Like,
nope. I have to pay more.
I was about to say you probably have to pay extra.
It's kind of like the age-old saying, like if you're like in general contracting work or anything like that, if it's like, okay, this is my cost. If you, it's doubled if you help me. So, but yeah.
All right, gents. So we've got a few questions from the audience coming in. The
Sweet.
first is from who are our really good friend from down under, down in Loach, Sir Eva. Her question is, and I'll throw it up on the screen here. In support of the constant rivalry, what are your favorite non-violent tavern games to play at events, and do you gamble on
ooh.
Yes.
Eh,
We
I
go ahead,
guess
Neil.
I don't play any period ones for my particular persona, but definitely I've been known to gamble at Lands Connects at Estrella from time to time.
Mhm.
What's that game called?
Oh, which one?
There's like 12 spaces on it.
Oh, dang it! We just played this game on Calvert's Corner a couple of weeks ago, and
Yeah. That's the one.
yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, that was good. I like that game.
It's
Um,
good. I have a lot of Chukis that I bring a bag full of them. Actually, my wife, Nia, she has such a massive like pouch of Chukis that she's won playing that game at Lands Connect. It's ridiculous. Like if this were period, she would be filthy rich. Like good God Almighty.
it's
I would have bought the rest of the island from Rome at this point.
right.
Just pay your taxes with her chookies.
Exactly.
And this whole thing just goes away.
Yeah. So when we do get back, hopefully we can drag you guys out for a great Western. But if I don't see you until Estrella, I'll definitely be dragging you guys into the Cock and Bulls Tavern. That's the West Kingdom's traveling tavern. We'll drag you in for
I'm
at least
familiar.
one night. Yeah, I know you're familiar. But we'll drag you in there for at least one night for a couple of rounds of Ship Captain Crew. That's
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's our favorite dicing game out here. So, Attilius, a couple things from the comments here. Hold on. When you were talking about hiring Black Company to help you out with this, Sir Fergus of the West, he says he's going to pay them more, and he's going to go talk to Lash. So I say, bidding war, yeah, that's
Sure.
yeah, sure, why not? And then a message for you again from Sir Fergus. This message is for you, Neo. Bone Army.
Bone Army. Yeah.
Bone Army. Bone Army.
That's
Bone
a
Army.
special thing. Actually, I specifically am waiting till after all of this as to not sway Lash's opinion. because I'm making Lash a pair of. Actually, they're right here. Let me show you. They're not finished yet, but they're printed.
Oh, I know what this is. Yep. Jawbone.
Sick.
So I make Knight Spurs out of Jawbones, and I gift them because the PLA we use is really sturdy, and
Mhm.
so like you can go and fight in them, and they weigh nothing.
Oh, nice.
So
And they also look really cool.
and they look really cool on the back of your boot with a spike through them.
That is cool.
The reason why
Right,
I came up doing that is because in Pictish culture there is no knight equivalent, like there's no
Yeah.
rank. So, but they're mentioned to be headhunters. So, I was like, what would a Pict have that sort of looks like a spur?
A
Well, I
jawbone.
mean, a mandible. So yeah, that's where that comes from. He keeps saying Bone Army because all the people I gifted them to, the knights I gifted them to, I was like, someday I will call upon you and you will be my Bone Army. And someday might be Estrella.
It just sounds wrong, but that's all right.
That's all good.
Okay.
I mean, high target environments, so
Damn straight.
I feel like you're gonna have a lot more on your side than you think you are.
probably.
Well, okay. So there are a bunch of Roman households out there.
Mhm.
I'm thinking that some of the Greek ones might even.
Mhm. I've
join
reached
up
out
too.
to a lot of them.
Yeah. So I don't think you'll be
No,
doing too
I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, I feel like, in all honesty, I feel like you're gonna end up having numbers.
And even if it didn't turn out that way, like, who gives a crap? Like, it's gonna be
It's gonna
fun.
be such a blast.
There's gonna be
Yeah,
there's gonna be so much shit talking afterwards, no matter who
it's gonna be
wins.
good.
I mean, literally,
after,
the-
before, during.
the idea that we have, and I know him as Baron Christopher. I know he's Sir Christopher now. He kind of threw out the idea that this is just the first of many battles between the two of us. I mean, between the Romans and Picts. It's actually much bigger than both of us. We're just the poster children at this point. I mean, it's going to end up being we want to do. Me and Neo want to do it at like Great Western War. We want to do it at Gulf Wars. We want to do it as big and as often as we can. But Baron Christopher had it set up to do. Estrella was going to be. Didn't he say it was like us going, or no? It was you guys coming down to Rome and kind of picking at the Hornet's Nest, and then at Highlands War 2022, is Rome is invading the Isles. Kind of a
the actual theme for that Highlands War had already been decided that it was Rome invading Gaul.
Yep.
Oh.
So the theme for that Highlands War is Rome invading Gaul. So,
and this we didn't know about it.
It's gonna roll. Yeah, he introduced it to us. He was like, "Hey, check this out. I had this idea, and I think it's perfect." And so our buildup and our hype is eventually going to lead to an even bigger thing where an actual whole event will basically be based around it.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's gonna be pretty epic. I mean, and then so the goal for us right now is to take over the res battles at Estrella, and literally once that first day, or the first scenario is going to be me and Neo. Me and Neo are going to go out and do our one-on-one, and then whoever wins, like after 10 passes, if I die, I'm going to fall to the ground, and that's Slay On. Or if Neo dies, he's going to fall to the ground, and that's Slay On. And the idea is to get your body back.
Yeah.
Your armor supposed to get your body back.
So whoever dies becomes the relic object.
Nice.
But then if you get back to your res point, you can res, and then you're back in the battle.
Yeah, you res.
So,
yep.
But it's going to be
it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be sick.
Yeah.
So
man, I'm getting excited. Just
right. It's when we said it's bigger than what we're leading on. It's going to be huge.
It's like
now
I'm thinking to myself, how? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
We were fighting with matches, and then we looked on the floor and we didn't realize we were surrounded by gasoline.
Greek fire.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself now, how fast could I throw together a Roman and or barbarian kit?
Are you offering yourself for sale?
I'm just saying I could if I can find the right.
I'll tell you this much. There's plenty of blue paint where this came from.
You don't have to wear as much armor either when you're on that side.
Right.
True. Making a barbarian kit is far faster than making a Roman kit.
There is that. Oh my goodness. All right. We got another question here from Sir Flanagan. He says, Neil, why always the heavy chain? You told me a while ago, but remind this old count.
So this chain is actually historically accurate for a Pict. Most Celtic tribes were torques. The Picts did both. They had torques, but these chains, you can actually find the chain this is based off of in a museum in Britain, and it's from the period. So the ones from period were actually made of solid silver. Obviously, I am not a rich man. I always joke and say I'm a poor country knight, so this is brass. So yeah, this chain is so the only difference really is that the historical one, it has a flat ring that you cinch together to close it, and it actually sits on the neck like a choker more than it does the knight's chain that I wear it like. But yeah, so it's based off of a museum piece in Britain. So
cool. Very, very cool. We got another question here from Thaddeus. Is Black Company predominantly Roman? He's only ever seen them at Estrella.
No, they're actually predominantly Vikings.
with a few
weird. I wonder if I could buy a bunch of barbarians.
Maybe. I mean, you could. You very much could.
There are a few notable differences, though. I mean, there are a couple of samurai and.
Oh yeah, we don't have a particular time period. Like you said, we've got samurais, we've got Romans, we've got Vikings, we've got literally whatever you want. Black Company was created for the people that are out in overflow, because that's who we were. We didn't know the kingdom. We didn't know how the game was really played inside the kingdom, and so we just started adopting all the people that don't really have a home. And so that's where Black Company came from, and that's where we just kind of like, we're a bunch of mercenaries. We're not gonna make people choose a persona. We're not gonna make people choose a Roman persona. We're not gonna make people choose whatever. We want you to play the game and have fun, and know that no matter what you do or who you are or where you're from, kingdom, knight, king, queen, baron, you always have a home in Black Company. So we've actually been going through a lot of, like, when Lash became a master, it was a difficult thing for a lot of us to wrap our heads around, because we never thought that was going to be possible. And now that we're starting to get up there, our names are all starting to get out there, and people are like, hey, these guys are actually really freaking cool. It's kind of like we've had to change up a lot of things. So it's fun to be. It's fun to be alive right now. I mean, minus the COVID and stuff like that, but I mean, pre-COVID, it was really fun, because it was cool to watch and see all the new people coming in, and all the people like growing up and being coming into the game and becoming who they are, like coming into their own shoes or whatever you want to say. And so that's also part of the reason why I'm doing this, is because I want to show them that. I want to show everybody. Lash is a huge inspiration to me. I know a lot of people look up to me. I look up to people like Neo who see an unbelted, unsquired fighter and is like, hey, this is your dream. Let's fucking run with it. And I think that is the ultimate goal for all of us, no matter what it is, no matter who you are. And that's what keeps the game alive. And this rivalry is what's keeping the game alive for me, and I know it's keeping the game alive for a lot of people. So mic drop, I guess.
Yeah. I'll be honest. Pre your video, your challenge video, I was kind of melancholy and I hadn't touched a project in like 3 months. And now I've finished like 6 projects literally specifically for Estrella.
All right. So,
That's
and I
awesome.
mean, I started taking up forging knives and blades and stuff. I know everybody's been probably getting annoyed with my countless posts because I'm excited about it. But
Dude, I
Oh,
just
no, man.
finished the latest season of Forged in Fire, and I'm just like watching you. I'm like, that's not bad.
so,
Yeah, you keep going at the rate you're going, and we'll see you on that show here.
yeah,
But no,
We'll see.
seriously, I'll give you a couple of years if you can continue to go on like that
right.
and you're dedicated. I mean, well, and here's the thing, like you're talking about your weight loss, it's dedication and discipline.
Yep.
You know, and that's what we're seeing. So yeah, man, keep it up. So we have a very
Yeah.
simple question.
Cool.
Another one from Thaddeus here. Chuki?
Chuki. What?
Chukis are collectible shiny things that you usually receive. Like, okay, so like any site token that is pewter or any kind of metallic, that's a Chuki. So like little doodads, little knickknacks, other words for them. But yeah, we call them Chukis here. I've got a chest. It's called the
Marbles.
Chuki chest.
Marbles are
Yeah,
also
marbles.
Chukis.
Yep.
Obviously,
marbles are
what he's
Chukis.
saying, like a marble's not as isn't worth as much as like a site token or like Chukis that people make or that you find. So going back to the game question, there's been times for us that we before a battle starts, we'll throw down one of our scutums and pull out some dice and start chucking dice like mid-battle. We actually got in trouble one year for placing bets at the Outlands list at Estrella because we got a little bit too rambunctious on our placing bets on people who who was going to win and stuff like that. So and we got told to tone it down a little bit. But I mean, we actually invented a game called Shafted. So if you guys are really into playing dice and dice games, bring your Chukis to a Black Company camp and we'll show you how to play Shafted. It's a fun game.
We might have to get you on Calvert's Corner.
Okay.
So that you can teach everybody because he does on Wednesdays. He does SCA and period games. Like I said, we were on there a couple of weeks ago doing Ship Captain Crew and a bunch of other stuff. So we might have to get you on there.
Okay.
Teach everybody.
Yep.
We love.
Bring
We
marbles.
love. Oh
Bring
yeah.
your marbles.
We love games where we can take money from each other, especially Fergus. We can take money from Sir Fergus. That's the best thing in the entire world.
That's the goal. It's to just take money from him. So.
Yes.
Hopefully that answers the Chuki question. So it's like a monetary value in the game that's not overly
Other
expensive.
Chukis, cool Chukis that I just came into actually. Here's a cool one. I have a whole bunch of pewter rings that pretty much fit. There's various sizes. So like if I'm walking around and I want to recognize somebody for something, like I can pull off a pewter ring and hand it off to them and say, hey, I saw you fighting out there with a lot of heart and you're trying real hard. Just wanted to recognize you for that. Like you're being watched. So,
have a Chuki.
Have a
Absolutely.
Chuki.
So it's funny because this whole COVID thing has been bad, but it's been actually really good for inter-kingdom exchange. And just little things like this, like, you guys call them Chukis. I've never heard that term. And I been playing with people from all over the place. Never heard them called Chukis before. But like back in Kaid, we used to just call them just baubles. We used to play a game called Baubles.
Yeah, baubles, Chukis, marbles. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's great. And out here, we have a lot of replica coin. But one of the great things about our games out here is if you put it on the table and everyone at the table agrees that it's worth 1 coin, you can play with it.
Nice.
Cool.
We've even had people put down like ridiculous things. And instead of letting them use it for their 1 coin, like somebody will buy it from them, give them, hey, I'll give you 30 coins for that knife that you just put on the pile. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
got you.
Yes, Fergus. Yes, you're right there. Fergus loves to buy everybody's cool stuff. If they put something cool on there, he'll be like, "Let me buy that from you." No, no, Fergus. It's in the pot.
I want it.
Right.
Fergus
It's worth
just go-
one.
You guys call it gambling. Fergus just calls that the mobile mall.
Yeah. But normally it's something like, "Ooh, that's pretty. I want to get it for my lady." And it's like, well, win it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we've just a couple more minutes here. And this is the time where I like to ask my guest, so what are you doing besides, we've been talking about it this whole time, but
Sure.
anything specific that you're doing during this, the COVID time, anything that you're working on, new armor, new clothes, other little things? You both said that you had projects that you've been working on.
I'm going to say a resounding yes. I'm
Okay.
making new garb. I'm making super speculative loincloths. I'm making. Here's a good shout out. If you don't buy Bowman shoes, you probably should. Like, if you know what's good for you. I thought my shoes, and the Roman period shoes too, I thought they were done. Like, I thought they were done ski. I was teetering on throwing them out. I've had them for a few years.
Mhm.
And then I found a sole from one of my old trashy boots. The sole is still awesome. So I ripped the sole off of that, resoled my Bowman, and then restitched one of the seams. And guess what? Like, brand new, baby.
Oh yeah. Well, and so
So-
you're talking about Boots by Bowman, of course.
Mhm.
And one of the awesome things about him, and I've seen it with several people before. You buy their boots, you wear them for years, and then you get a blowout. And when I say years, like 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And then you take them back to him, and you're like, "These are really great. Do you have any more of these? I want them just like this." And he's like, "Yes, I do, but I can fix those." He's like, "Give them to me,
Yep.
and he will fix them."
Because they're already broke in. So
Yeah, for
Makes
more
sense.
for a very modest fee. Yeah,
Yep.
like he is. I've seen him do some fantastic deals for people and just help them out like a ton. So
Mhm.
yeah, Boots by Bowman, not just a good product, but a good proprietor as well.
Oh yeah, so solid. And he has like 3 different Roman style shoes, and I think he's coming out with an updated Roman cavalry boot. So that's
Nice.
pretty exciting.
I'll have to check them out.
Very, very nice. Attilius, any
Yep.
special projects? I know that you were working on some new armor.
So taking a deep dive into the Roman persona,
Nice.
I ended up purchasing an Acer helmet at Estrella this year.
Oh,
yes.
Like walked in and dropped money on it. Like my wife was there, thank God, so it wasn't a secret. And
What's so heavy in this bag, hon?
right,
it's marbles. Marbles? It's marbles.
that's
I don't know where that
chickies.
came
Don't worry about it. My own business. So I mean, even pre-COVID, when I was at Estrella, I was fighting in my Greek armor, and I ended up winning the Vanguard tournament at Estrella, and
Nice.
I got a lot of attention from it, and I got some advice from several people that were like, dude, you need to take a deep dive and really look at your renown and see and kind of like pick a direction and just go with it.
Yep.
Mhm.
And my wife can attest to you, and all my friends can attest to you, that if I do something, I literally jump in head first, 150 miles an hour, and or $1,500 an hour.
Yeah.
For a Roman
I hear you.
helmet. And
To be honest,
but,
I did naughty things to that helmet with my eyes before you purchased it.
it's okay. I did too.
Yeah.
on his website. So
That
Oh.
fluted top, the fluted the wings on top. Oh my god,
Yeah, dude, it's perfect. It was like perfect. I
it's so
actually
good.
put in oh, what's the word I'm thinking of? It was I put in a bid for a helmet, not a bid, but you know what I mean. Like I put down
Yeah.
a down payment. That's what the word I'm thinking
Right,
of. I
right,
put a down payment in for a helmet from him, and he was like almost a year out, and then I walked into a Stray, and I'm like, can I? The money that I put down, can I put that towards that helmet? And he's like, absolutely. Shh. And so,
Boom.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, my previous armor was freaking awesome. Like it was literally
Dude,
built,
that was
custom
hero
built
armor. I'm not gonna
for
lie.
me. But it wasn't period. It wasn't period for what I was going for.
right.
I mean, you could
It
argue
was
it, but
well. It's really cool. It looked more to me like I really like the armor, but it looked more to me like a 15th century tournament armor,
mhm,
where those
mhm.
guys, they're like, oh, I'm going to be Hercules or I'm going to be Achilles or whatever, and then they'd
Yep,
have armor specifically made for one freaking tournament to make
yep,
them look like a Greek
right.
hero. But yeah, but it's some badass armor.
It
I like.
was. Yep. Now it's going to somebody in Idaho. So I sold
Nice.
it. Yep. And then I picked up the chainmail. Just a Lorica Hamada, simple.
Mhm.
That was my new armor. I still have the same arms. They're just some Mazabons from Torvalder, and then we got a leather guy up here in Bernal that made me some legs that are semi-Roman. They're leather, but so they're not necessarily 100% periods because the Romans, if they did wear legs, they was like brass or silver or bronze or something like that.
Yeah.
So eventually I'll go to that, but I'm kind of tapped out on funds for the years, next several years.
Well,
So
yeah, you got to be fiscally or
mhm,
financially responsible, or you won't get
mhm.
a war.
Right, exactly. Won't be able to show it off. So
Exactly.
that's really what I've been working on is just not only that, but like reading up on Roman history. I started to learn a little bit of Latin. Don't ask me anything because I forgot it already because I picked up several other hobbies. But just focusing really on my persona. Like Neo was a huge inspiration behind that. But even before our little rivalry, just how deep dive he went into his. I was like, if I'm going to do this, I want to go all in. Like, I want to be known for being Roman as Roman can be. And
Yep.
Right.
so I was just, if you're going to do it, do it. And if you're not going to do it, don't bother.
Yep.
Like,
Do something else.
yeah, do something else. And then not only that, but I picked up blacksmithing and mostly forging knives. In fact, haven't done it yet, but me and Neo have decided to. If he wins, he's going to get something. If I win, he's going to give me something, and he's got mine already. And it's a torque. If I win, he's going to give me a torque. Has wolf heads on it, so I mean, it goes back to how Rome was founded.
Mhm.
Suckling off the teat of the wolf, Remus and
Yeah.
Romulus, and so. Um, I'm going to make him a Pugio. It's just a little Roman dagger. It's about that long, and then it's going to be pretty fat. Hopefully, it's going to be made out of Damascus if I can figure out my forge to get it to be a little bit hotter, so I can forge weld it together. So that's really, I mean, it's all going into everything that I'm leading. Everything I'm doing now is just trying to solidify my persona in the world of the SEA. So I'm trying to take advantage of the downtime before. I mean, it's in a lot of ways it's hard for a lot of people because we don't get to see each other as often. But at the same
Right.
time, it gives you the opportunity to focus in on your weak points in your game. And so that's what I've been trying to do with my time is focusing in on my weak points and the stuff that I need to work on to accomplish the goals that I want to in the game. So,
Well, excellent. Well,
wow,
and
going off on a tangent. Sorry.
no, that's perfectly fine. That's what we're here for, and that's
Mhm.
the why I wanted to have you guys on today is because you guys are really keeping the fun in fighting, even though we're not fighting right now. You found a way, and so I
Yeah.
would encourage everybody out there to do something similar. I mean, it doesn't have to be on such a large, grand scale as what you guys are doing, but like you said, it started off small. a fun thing between the two of you, and it's grown. And it's
Mhm.
not only has it grown, it's given joy and fun and that shared camaraderie with tons of other people. And that's what we need, right? You know, having something to look forward to,
Right.
and planning and getting ready for it. Like, it's been great. And I, like I said, thanks again, guys, for
Mhm.
a little part in it.
Yeah, of
And
course.
on the show and telling the story to everybody and all this goofiness. Um, I hope you guys had a good time. I know I did.
Absolutely, for sure.
Absolutely.
And so before we go, I have to, of course, say thanks for coming and watching, all of you folks out there. Do us a favor and go and subscribe, like these videos, subscribe to their pages, and like the Facebook page, all that kind of good stuff. Don't forget my sibling show, Between Two Peers, comes on tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Right here on YouTube. So go and give them a watch. They are ridiculously fun and funny, and sometimes controversial. But they're always
Controversial, never.
What?
Never. What?
No.
But it's a great show. If you've never watched it, you should. If you have watched it, then you know what I'm talking about. So, thanks for coming out again. We'll see you guys next week. And yeah, that's it. I think that's it. Is that it?
I
That's
think
it.
that's it.
Yep.
Roma
That's
Invicta.
the thing.
Ah. Good night, everybody.
Good night.